What's up, guys? We're back on another edition of Scummy Unplugged. Today we're with frontman Jakob Nowell, dude, from the band Law. I gotta admit, dude, I didn't know much about you when they told me you're coming in. I know you're the son of the late, your father, the lead singer Brad Nowell of Sublime, and then I saw your band Law, dude. I've really became a fan over the past few days. Kind of feel bad saying that, you know, but I didn't know. I'm like kind of into the Pennywise and No Effects. That's like my music. And dude, you are so talented, dude. And just hearing your story, it's just amazing. You have it's crazy. How did you get into music? How did that start for you?
Well, first off, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Me and my friends, we have a lot of fun doing what we do, and we love playing together. I think how I first got into music, man, when I was a kid, I grew up with music all around me. My mom is hugely interested in all sorts of music, so there was always something playing. There was always a record spinning in the home where I grew up. But because I took it so much for granted, you know, it was always there, always a part of my life. You know, ever since I can remember, my mom was taking me to shows and going in and out of places and stuff. I never really thought much of music itself. And I never wanted to pursue it until I was 12 years old and I saw the movie Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. And it was Kyle Gass and Jack Black that really opened the doors for me, and I realized that is what I wanted.
That's
was
the road
rock.
you want to go down?
Yeah.
That's right. When did you realize who your father was, and did that play an effect of like you hitting the music road?
Oh, totally. You know, I think that everybody, when we look at what our parents do, there's a part of us that wonders, what if we did that too? And then you add in the factor of, you know, him not being in my life because he died when I was at such a young age.
How old were you?
I was about not quite one yet.
Okay.
I was just before I turned one, I'm pretty sure, right around there. And, you know, I think there's always that kind of like, oh, well, what do I do? Do I carry on the torch? That's kind of a thought you play with. But I don't know if that's so much why I do it now. If it was a thought before when I was younger, it's been it's changed for me so much. My thinking on it has changed and been in different places and different periods of my life. You know,
same with the band Law. I know you guys were kind of going after kind of the ska thing like Sublime, and now you guys are more of like a little bit more rock. When did that change for your band? I mean, Laws, dude, I'm a fan, dude. I've been rocking out all the way, and you're just so like, you're truly talented, dude. You're not just somebody that like you're getting by doing these shows. You're fucking, you guys are good, man. So when did it change your style of music?
Oh, wow. Well, you know,
how long has Law been around for? When did you guys start?
We formed in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like 7
me and my brother, Dakota Etheridge, we formed the band. We'd always wanted to when we were kids. So I guess just to start it back, you know, I'm 12. I watched Tenacious D. I'm like, man, I want to do that. I asked my grandpa and begged him to teach me how to play guitar, and he teaches me how to play some basic open chords, and then he teaches me how to make a bar chord, and he says, your training is complete. You can play everything now.
So your grandpa was the one that kind of taught you
everything. Yeah, he taught me how to make a bar chord, and that's got a lot of mileage out of that.
Did he teach your father music? Or
yeah, more or less. You know, our family has always been very musical, especially during like family get-togethers.
Yeah.
Busting out the guitar and the gut bucket and
that's
the
so
washboard and
man.
stuff. It's always been kind of a family deal. But that being said, you know, I've always, growing up, the music that inspired me it tended to be heavier music. I never considered myself, I mean, there were times when I was a kid and I considered myself a metal guy, but...
What was it, like Metallica or like
See, I was going to say,
like,
you know, I've never really been a big Metallica guy, although I respect, of course, how amazing and, you know, just legendary that music is. I have like a little bit of Slayer, but it was kind of random, man, the stuff that inspired me. I remember the first thing that really hit home to me was Tool, and still Tool is my favorite band today. Yeah. Tool Army. And I was about 14, and it's basically just what I needed to hear at that age. It spoke to me. And also Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Big influence to me still. I think the best like current active rock band.
Yeah.
And then also Mastodon.
Okay.
And I still like a lot of Mastodon music. And so there's a kind of common thread in there, but it was, I think it was the story that I got out of the music and the tone of the music that really spoke to me. And that's what I ended up wanting to do in my music, you know? I'm not a huge music nerd like a lot of people I know, and I wish I was. And I think it's very cool. But the reason why I'm still in this industry and I'm still trying to do it, I mean, if you can even say I'm in the industry.
I think you are
I'm
doing
trying.
it. You are doing it.
I'm
think
trying.
You have a bright future, man.
Thanks,
So,
man. And I'm just trying to, and I think my bandmates as well, just trying to tell the stories that are genuine to us. I think that's why people liked my father's music, and so much good music is liked because it seems genuine.
So, like,
stuff that lasts long. We just want to make stuff that is real to us. And so to answer your original question in a long way, originally I thought we had to sound like a reggae ska band. I thought we had to, otherwise no one would listen, is what I thought.
And was it kind of like carrying on the torch from your dad in any way? Because how could it not be?
A part of it, and also just growing up with the music like that my mom played a lot of, like I was saying, that's just kind of how I gravitated towards playing. I just thought that that style, it just kind of happened naturally. Even though in my head I wanted to sound like a Queens of the Stone Age song, people would hear what I was playing and think Sublime, and so then it would just kind of organically become that. Until you know, some new members joined the band, and our current lineup now is me, Logan on bass, Aiden on guitar, and Nick on drums. And when we when the four of us got together is when Law really became what it is now.
Now you guys found...
And yeah, when they were like, no, we can play whatever we want, man. We can, what music do you like? And I'm like, well, I like these bands. The ones I just told you, they're like, yeah, so do we. Let's do that too. And, you know, and they brought to the table like Red Hot Chili Peppers stuff, Alice in Chains sort of sounding stuff. I personally see those as some big influence. I hear that a lot in their styles. And our music just became this kind of very loud rock, story-centric, melody-centric, just, you know, fun music, man.
I think it's kind of better for you guys, too, because you don't want to be known as, like, the band kind of, like, going off your father. It's like you guys found, and this is Law. This is who you guys are now.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool, man.
Thank you so much. You know, and now it's become this thing, and it is a blessing and a curse. We always note that too, because
I bet
the blessing is we get this awesome early audience who's interested and curious. But sometimes the curse is too. It's like I don't like it because it sounds too much like his dad, or not enough like his dad, or I like it for those reasons, or I don't. You know, and then there's this built-in bias. And we're just hoping we find an audience that likes our music for what it is. Maybe it won't happen, but until then, it's a pretty sweet ride, man. We have a lot of fun writing together.
I think you guys are doing great, dude.
Thank you so much, man.
It's really cool. And, of course, we're at Recovery Today magazine.
Yes.
We know a lot. I mean, who doesn't know the story of your father, how he OD'd at 28 on top of the world, and then, you know, you fell down that same path. You know, how did that happen? I didn't realize you were so young, man. And we were just talking before this, and like, you know, I know you just became 2 years sober last week, which is so huge, and you had a stint of time before and you relapsed, but that's a young age to, like, you know, want to change your life around while you're in a band. Like, you got the chicks, you're like the front man. Like, I can't imagine, you know, like, I have a lot of respect for you because, dude, it is there in your face, and for you to, like, want to take the reins and like want to change your life around, I have a lot of respect, dude. Not a lot of people know how easy it is to fall in that rut, especially in your position, dude. Everything is getting thrown on your lap. Yeah, you know, and it's got to be hard, but you look happy, you look like you're doing good. Like, I guess, tell me, when did drugs and alcohol become a problem? I know you started like when you were 16.
Oh no, the first time I ever did a drug or an alcohol, 12. It was about 12.
A lot sooner.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, it's just, you know, that was just what my family was like.
Yeah.
And that's what was okay. And that was their way of doing things, and it worked in a lot of ways for other reasons. But what happened with me was my own doing, I think. You know, I think originally it was the weed, you know, and then the weed turned into a lot of drinking, and then the drinking turned into pills and cocaine, and then that just kind of kept going and going and going. And I think I always had the personality for it. I think that's really why people get these problems, like with drinking or gambling or sex or video games.
Always trying to one up the other thing, like
there's something in us that we'd rather not have in us, man, and we get so used to this process of covering it up with these things, pressing this kind of pleasure center button, and then that becomes all we know how to deal with things.
You're
I think
100%.
you know,
right. I think
and I learned that too early on, and that's was the downfall eventually.
The one thing with drug addiction and all this like alcoholism, it's fascinating to me because like all of us addicts and like recovering addicts are all the same, like the way we think and like
True.
It's crazy,
this line of thinking,
dude. It's crazy,
and that's what I see so much. That's what's just been so huge for me, meeting other people doing stuff like this with recovery today,
and just getting sober and being like pumped. You can wake up, dude, like fucking just attack life. You're pumped, and
we're not the only ones, you know.
No,
we can have fun with other people. You know, we can still live our. It's just life.
It's
now.
a different happiness because you know back in the day it was like Christmas when you would have a sack of like heroin or pills, whatever your drug is, and then it would like be complete hell when you were dope sick and had nothing. Now it's like just consistent like just
man.
No more bullshit problems in your way. So
true.
You started at 12. When did it become a problem? Like when did you try and sober up?
Well, it was definitely always a problem because I immediately, as soon as I realized I could get high, I was like, why would I want to do anything else?
Exactly.
There's no other reason I would do anything else. This is the best thing.
Rad, yeah,
this is the best.
Exactly.
I want to feel like this forever. And so eventually, by the time of 19 is when I was like, okay, my life is completely screwed. Like,
so did you go down the road of heroin or like?
I never did that. I never did heroin.
Okay.
I did do speed and a lot of cocaine. My problem that original time though, when I was 19, was Adderall.
Okay.
Or you know, all the different medical speed pills.
Yeah.
And I was just taking a lot unsafe amounts of those. I was having heart problems, and then I was mixing that with cocaine, and of course drinking a lot and smoking a lot of weed. And it got to a point where my life was totally unmanageable. You know, I couldn't be there for anybody else around me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get people off my back, and so I told them I was going to go into a rehab deal, and I tried that. I think it was an outpatient deal. And then I tried to be sober for about 18 months, trying to do whatever I could to stay sober. I wasn't really serious about it. And then I had a relapse. And that was when I was 21.
And what you just said, it was more like just to kind of get everybody off your back.
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't for real. Yeah, exactly. Like, I can do this. I don't need this.
Works. I got it.
Right?
You weren't, and it never works, dude. It never works unless you are pure.
I wasn't serious about it. Yeah.
A lot of people, they're like, dude, I go to rehab, I come out, I can't figure out. It's like, it's truly like, for me, it took one time because I like just ruined my life so much. It took one time, and like all these people that go in and out, I just feel that you're just not 100% ready. Once you're 100% ready, you'll do it every time.
I completely agree. Once you're ready and serious and you know that you're done, that's the biggest thing for me because, when I turned 21, I went back out, and that at that point, it was all alcohol is my main thing. You know, when I get wasted.
Did you start the band at 21? Yeah, you were in the band.
I was already in the band. Yeah, the band I started at 17.
Oh shit! So
I was doing the band during all of this.
Was the band happy like when you sobered up? How was your music and all this when you sobered up? Because that's got to change a lot.
When I'm sober, I definitely play a lot better, and they knew. Well, what really happened is but when I did this relapse is when we had this current lineup, the one that is Law. And during the relapse, at first, I remember my bandmates were like, "Hey, man, you know, we're your bros. We support you. We love you. You got this, man. Whatever your choice is, you know, if you don't want to do the sober stuff, that's cool." And then after, being late to shows and throwing up on stage and messing up gigs and losing money and stuff like that, they were like, "All right, this is
becoming a problem.
This is becoming a problem for all of us." And then I would just go straight off the radar. Like, I would just be gone. And like, alcohol was my thing. And then when I get drunk, it'd be whatever else you could give me. So I've done everything at least once or twice or 100 times. But
alcohol is like the main
deal. For whatever reason. And because I'd wake up, I'd flush all my drugs. Be like, how could I do that? I'd get drunk. I'd buy a bunch more. Yeah. And then cycle would just repeat. And and it was always just centered on me. Like, and by the end, it was just all booze. Like, I was just completely dying from it. You know, every morning I was throwing up blood and I'd have seizures if I didn't drink. And
so it was bad.
I flew off the radar. I broke the band up. It
got that bad.
Yeah.
The band broke up.
Yeah.
All because of you and the drinking?
Yeah. Well, I fired everyone.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just broke us up. Like, I was like, no, we're not a band anymore. This is done. Like, and then I don't remember what my thinking was entirely. I don't think I was thinking very much.
Yeah.
And then I just proceeded to go downwards and downwards and downwards until, when I look back on it, my use wasn't a whole lot of fun. Like a lot of people can look back and say there were, I had a blast. There were all these parties and stuff. And there were fun times, but the funnest times were when I was alone. That's all it was just this loneliness and depression. Like I'm not a big social guy. I'm not a big partier. Even when I'm out there and stuff, like I just can't wait till I can get home and be alone and drink how I want to drink or do drugs how I want to do drugs.
Super tweaky.
Yeah.
And but I think that's like when you're like really in the thick of it, that's how it is. It's like the fun goes away. You're not getting drunk with your boys or at parties. You're locking yourself, doing weird shit in the black, like, dude, and it's like, what the fuck happened? And that's
that's
like when
dark, yeah.
And looking back, like for me, I wake up when I'm sober and I think about those times, and
me too,
it makes me so happy. Like I'm like, damn, I don't have to go through any of that shit again.
I don't have to live in that fear
But I think
anymore,
it's good
man.
to like look back at the dark times because it makes you realize how good being sober is, dude. So,
it's totally true, man. Basically, I got to the point where I almost died, and
how was that?
Dark, man. It was bad.
Alcohol?
It gets to the alcohol. I suicide attempts from trying to take too many Xanax and luckily throwing them up later after falling asleep, and all sorts of stuff like that. Until eventually I was in, I guess, this blackout, right? This is a story how it happened. I was in a blackout. I don't remember what happened, but apparently during this time, one of my buddies who wasn't, not really, I don't even remember who it was, someone I used to drink with, I guess, was like, bro, you're going to be a drunk forever. And I was like, no, I can get sober whenever I want. He's like, well, do it then. And so I made a call to someone that I had met from being sober. And I asked for help. It was like 4 a.m., so I think I left them a message. And then I guess a few days later, I come to out of my blackout, and I'm sitting at a little table with some other guys around me. We're eating food. I'm in a nice place, and I'm like, where am I? And I asked the guy next to me. He goes, you're in a detox facility, man. You've been here for 2 days.
Shut up.
I was like, thank God.
Damn.
I was just so happy because I got so close to dying, and
how'd you get there?
So the guy I called had helped me out.
Wow. Grace
Yep,
God, that's crazy. So you woke up in detox. That's
I woke up in
that's
the
a
guy who
fucking
talked
miracle.
to my family, and I guess met up with me while I was in that blackout.
That's
for
actually
3
really
days.
like great way of going into detox.
It is,
like just
man.
waking up and you're there. Like,
Dude,
you don't even got to remember.
And it was time to go. And I've been still, that was 2 years ago.
Wow.
On January 25th, 2017.
Dude,
So
I'm like so honored to interview knowing that you just got 2 years of sobriety and just knowing like, dude, your father is like looking down. He's got to be so proud of you, dude. And like knowing that you didn't go down that same road. Like you could have, dude, what if you would have died? And like, you're just like, you're his son. You're making like your dad's legacy stronger. It's so rad, man.
Thank
Seeing
you so
this,
much.
dude, it's
and it's my dad, and it's also my grandpa and his dad. Like our whole family,
Your grandfather's a legend. I've seen a lot of stuff on him. Dude, he's got to be so proud of you. I mean, seeing what
he is,
his son, he's got to.
And it's just, I think it's just, I'm so lucky today to still have this gift today. I think that the story of the musician that ODs is played out. We don't need to do that anymore. There can be dope legends out there who don't have to die
that
young.
are sober and you
that are
have
sober
to make
and don't have to die
it.
young.
There's not enough people out. Dude, that's such a rad way of looking at it because that's what you think of rock
man.
stars, like.
Yeah, that's
But
that's the
dude,
image
being
we have.
sober, man, like you can still be rock and roll. You can still be rad. There's just not like a front man. I think you're a great guy to hold that torch. Like just thinking about like, for me, like what I put my father through and what I put my parents through. How did your grandfather look at you when you were going through those dark times, knowing like what his son went through? How was it for him?
Oh, I can't imagine.
Were you just trying to get him out of like, try and space yourself with him, or what?
They were always a huge part of my life, and they still are. Of course. And my grandpa's like my dad, and so is my grandma. And I think they have always said, there's no greater tragedy than losing a kid. You're supposed to die before your kids. And then when they see that their grandson is doing the same thing that took their kid away, I can't imagine.
I can't imagine either.
Because I'm their flesh and blood, and it's like you feel like you just want to show them the right thing to do, and there's no way they can. It feels like I'm a part of them, and they can't control that at all, and it sucks. I think they lost a lot of sleep, and it probably was like living in a constant nightmare, and that's what. But when I was out there, man, I didn't care about that. I didn't care about any of that.
You don't care.
I would lie, and I would do anything I could to just kind of get that away,
we
so
all
I could
do,
get
and
good, so I could get well. You
I
know,
feel like when you're drunk and you're on drugs, that's not you, dude. Like, you know, like you're not that person. I feel like you're who you are. You're a nice dude. You're a legend. You got so much talent, but when you're on that shit, it just turns you into somebody else.
it takes
man.
all our worst parts of us and puts them right out there. You
Everything,
know?
dude. It's amazing, dude. This was like, for me, this was one of the coolest interviews. I was, you know, let's just like be open. I was nervous to do this because like going into it, I didn't know a lot about you, but after seeing everything, I'm like, dude, this guy's like really like, this guy's good. I hope he like, you were very easy to talk to. You were like, your story is amazing. I think like what we're doing, like, and just the younger generation, you know, a lot of guys I have come in, the young generation where it's at. If you can show these people that you can be sober, you can be rad, you can be a lead singer of a successful band. I mean, dude, you're showing people that you can do it sober, man. That's like what this shit's all about. Just giving back, dude. You know, that's for me.
I'm living proof that there are solutions out there. There's so many different solutions that work in so many different ways for different people. And the evidence is for me is that I don't think about drinking anymore today. Like I don't crave that today. I don't crave the drugs today. I go out and I can play shows and things are just okay. It didn't start that way, but after all this time of doing different things that help keep me sober, I'm able to just have a good time out there, you know? And my bandmates are very cool and supportive. They're actually not big partiers either, but even when they do or when stuff happens around me and everything, that's not where my head goes. There's no fear that I don't clench up.
So do you think it goes
great.
away just to like tell somebody watching this, like if they're trying to get sober, like I feel like if what I would say, the feeling does go away, but you got to stay busy in something you love. Music, I ride dirt bikes, but you just got to stay busy and like find something new. Like, I got into running. I don't even fucking run, but I love running now, but it's just like keeping me active. You just got to find something to do and just stay busy, dude.
And stay with that and make it your thing and make it your life. And love is going to carry you out. It will. It absolutely will. I can't believe the life I have today, man. It's so much better than anything I'd ever thought.
100%. What's, just to close this out, man, what a rad interview. What's next for Law?
Next for Law, we are recording an album with the legendary Steve Albini over in Chicago. And it's going to be the best rock album ever.
I like it. When's that
until we
coming
make
out?
the next one. Hopefully later this year. It'll be coming out. And yeah, we're just doing a bunch of recording. We're going to be playing some shows.
I feel what this issue is going to be out January 1st. Probably March. So let's start from March.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Gotcha.
Yeah, I got that one.
Okay. Next for Law, I think we're recording with him in March.
Okay.
Next for Law, we're going to be putting out some new music this year.
Perfect.
And we are going to be traveling around different parts of the United States, playing some shows.
So what's the best way for people to get to see the schedule? Law's Instagram?
Yeah.
What is that?
LAWLBC.
Okay, so that's
and
the
you
best
could just
way.
type that in, one word, in any internet search box engine, and you will be able to discover the gift that is
Perfect.
Law. And we also have a website, lawlbc.band.
Perfect, dude. Well, dude, I'm a fan, and dude, thank you so much.
Thank you, Scummy. This was so much fun, man.
So
Great
proud
talk.
of you, dude. Much respect. That's it. I got nothing to say.
Law.